afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Gulfstream today. Ron Nicoletti with my pal Katie Stazak back from winning an award in Kentucky. Congratulations. She showed horses and won the summer, what is it called, the Kentucky Summer Meet?
I was riding show horses at the Kentucky Summer Classic and was champion for the weekend. It was an amazingly fun experience, but I am so glad to be back, and I'm excited for you to be taking your vacation in a couple weeks. Very well deserved.
Yeah, I need some break. And if you're here at Gulfstream today and you're one of the first 1,000 people and you buy either a Gulfstream handicapper or a daily race form, pick up this a great fan here that squirts water and everything like that, and that's if you're on track. And if you're here, buy either the form or the Gulfstream handicapper and do that right away. We got a fast main track, we got a firm turf course, the Rainbow Six. They keep knocking on the door. You see it starting in race 6 today. We got that $50,000 jackpot guarantee. They hit it on Thursday, almost hit it again yesterday, so it's a great wager for only 20 cents.
It's a phenomenal wager. Gulfstream has been becoming known for this wager, and it's been getting hit a lot, so it's definitely something that the odds are not that high to hit this bet, and it's a great payoff.
Yeah, and there's only 20-cent increments, so you can add a lot more horses. Today kicks off the Florida Sire Stakes, formerly the Florida Stallion Stakes. We run at Gulfstream this year. We got our 2 divisions today, the 4th and 10th race. But before we get started, we want to take a trip down memory lane and show you the winner of last year's, in reality, $300,000 race. This was over at Calder last year. We're going to show that stretch call there. And just an impressive performance by the 3-horse. Best plan yet, drawing off to win it by 4.5 lengths. And this is the finale, and our finale, Katie, is going to be on October 4th.
Yes, it is. This is so great to have the Florida Sire Stakes here at Gulfstream. It's over a 30-year tradition, and there have been some really nice horses to come out of this series and do well even against open company. It's a great incentive program for Florida breds, but then you see horses like Awesome Feather, Big Drama, Jackson Bend, all use the Florida Sire Stakes to go on to bigger and better things, championships and Eclipse Awards and Breeders' Cup wins.
Mentioning Jackson Bend, the trainer and owner of that horse, Jackson Bend Farm, with Stanley Gold, who's got a bunch of horses today in the 2 divisions of the Stallion Stakes. So we'll get to those in a few minutes, but we're going to take a look at our first race today. And this one is a 6-furlong claimer, 3-year-olds up, $6,250. And how did you see the opener, Katie?
We just showed you a video from last year. I kind of wish we had a video of the last race of the 3-horse Bold Perspective. I was really impressed with this horse last time out. It was a very professional win. He steadied and lost ground shortly after the break, gets stuck behind a wall of horses, has to steady again. Then he angles out at the top of the stretch and still goes on to win by 1.5 lengths. 2 starts back, he also won by 4.5 at Calder. He's 2 for 4 at Gulfstream and has 3 wins at this distance. I had to put this horse on top of my ticket.
Yeah, for all the reasons you did, I did the same thing. We both have the 6 horse in there, and that is Orange Pride in second. I went with the 2 Congrats Criminal second to both. The Bold Perspective back at Calder a little earlier on in April, so keen off that performance threw him on my ticket. But looks like it's 3-6 in the opener today. We're going to flip the page as they blow all around here today. We've got a nice breeze coming through. Pretty nice. Our second race is on the turf, and as we mentioned at the top of the show, turf course listed as firm. This one, 1 mile and 116. Claimers, 3-year-olds and up, non-winners of 2 races in life. $12,500 is the tag. 2 scratches in here. Number 3, Il Volo, who was one of my picks. I'm sure it was one of yours, figured in here. And also scratched the 14, Speedy Buckaroo. How'd you see the second?
I had Il Volo on top of my ticket, so I scratched into Wind Talker, who I believe you also have at the top of your ticket. This horse went 1 mile and a 16th for the first time in his 10-race career last time out, and he was second, beaten just a half length. He was gaining, just couldn't get by the winner that day. If you go back in his past performances a little bit, his last 4 starts weren't quite as impressive, but he really had some pretty legitimate excuses. 2 of those races came off the turf. The horse has never run well on dirt. The other 2 were run at the $32,000 and $35,000 levels, which just may be a little bit out of reach for him, and that was also reflected in the betting that day if you were to see his odds. But the start prior to those, when the conditions were fair, he broke his maiden. So I think this is a really, really good spot for him.
Yeah, I mean, I had him on my top of my ticket for all the reasons you mentioned, and I had Volo in second, and then we both have the number 7. I'll leave it with you. This one lit up the board when it won on the turf at Tampa. It was 36-1. Now goes back to the grass, finishing third in its local debut. That was against Similar. That was on a sealed, sloppy track, and you're not going to get those 36-1 odds today.
Definitely not. He's the most inexperienced runner in this field, but he's hit the board in each start since dropping down to the claiming ranks. And again, nice win last time out at Tampa.
Yeah, we got the same exactor in this race again, and then we have the 2 and the 12 in there. We're going to go to the third race. This is a 6 furlong sprint. These are maiden 2-year-olds, and we're going to go back and show you race 8 from, I believe, July 6th, and this is when Modern Tale just missed in its debut.
I thought this was a really nice debut for Modern Tale. He stalks. You're going to see him just a second here. He stalks. He makes a nice bid, and he keeps going despite, I mean, the track not the best conditions. Very tiring for a horse running his first race. And the past performances, the description says that he missed by a neck, but it looks more like a head to me. This horse really runs on and makes it very close at the end. I like him a lot today. Yeah, and you see he's ready for this performance today. The trainer is Ron Pellegrini, and he worked him a 5 furlong bullet at Calder and 102 breezing. And Calder, a sandier track than here. That's a pretty nice move. 102 for 5 furlongs. So both of us in agreement once again. Here we go a little different in our second spot. I went with the one horse in here, Little Nicodemus. This one is stretching out to 6 furlongs, showing a positive late run to finish 4th behind a really impressive winner that they call Brown Magic. That was in its 4.5 furlong debut. So I just think the added distance, that previous experience is going to be good for number 1, Little Nicodemus. And you did go with the 8 horse in here, and that's Brothers Forever. I did. Quickly on Little Nicodemus, he's the only horse in this field that's going to be running without Lasix today, and this has become a big issue. Recently, a lot of trainers coming out saying that they want to ban all race day medications, and this horse is running without Lasix, so he's definitely one that you want to keep an eye out. I'll be really interested to see how he finishes up. But I went with Brothers Forever to put second on my ticket. He's a first-time starter for trainer Antonio Sano. He's the son of Colonel John and an Awesome Again mare, and he's had 2 bullet works leading up to his debut. Yeah, we talked about that Reka 102. This one actually worked 101 and 3 over Calder track, so a good workout for that debut, and that's number 8, Brothers Forever. We're going to go to the 4th race, and the 4th race is our first race in the Sire Stakes, and this one is the Desert Vixen, $100,000 guaranteed. It's 6 furlongs. This is the Philly division kicking off today, and we're going to go back and show you race 3 from July 26th when Katie's Kiss was very impressive. Very, very impressive. This was the second start for Katie's Kiss, and she certainly learned something in that first start because she draws up here to break her maiden by 5.5 lengths. I talked to trainer David Fox earlier in the week. He said he was really expecting this kind of effort from Katie's Kiss in her first race, but she was 3rd that day, ended up being taken down and put in 7th after there was some interference in the stretch with another filly. She kind of drifted out, but I think she's a very deserving favorite, very talented, owned by the Stone Street stables of Rachel Alexandra and Kauai Katie fame. They know how to find, pick out, breed, and run fillies in the Sire Stakes. So I went with the number 6 in here, Hollywell, and I'll tell you why. This one is stretching out to 6 furlongs after using her speed. She defeated a pair of next out winners, and those 2 horses, one was called Awesome Ice, the other one was called Slava. That was going 5.5 furlongs last time out. If you follow my analysis, you know I'm a key race aficionado, so I went with the number 6, Hollywell, on the ticket. I love when they come out of a race and a couple of horses behind it come out and win, so I'm going to go for a little bit of a price with the 6 Hollywell. Got Katie's Kiss on. All you have to do is look at that video we just showed you. You can see why she's on the top of the ticket, but you also have the number 3 horse on your ticket. I really like Miss Emelita from the Terry Pompey barn. She's the most experienced filly in this race with 4 starts, and she's already stakes placed. She was 3rd in the overnight Cassidy Stakes here. That was on July 12th. And when I spoke to Terry Pompey earlier in the week, she said that the Sire Stakes has always been the goal for this filly. And when she ran in the Cassidy, they weren't expecting her to be at her best, and she still ran very, very well. So I think you're going to see her at her peak today, and I think she is a very big threat in this race.
Well, let's go to the 5th race, and this one is back on the turf. Turf course listed as firm, 1 mile and 1/16. It's an allowance for 3-year-olds and up. And once again, we want to go back and visit a race. It was actually race 1 on July 27th, and show a horse in there called Balthazar, getting a little bit of trouble in that race.
A little bit of trouble. This horse was making a really nice run. You're going to see he gets bumped. He's the 7 horse twice, and he was really in the middle of making his bid. And then he's going to allow the outside horse to get by. It was no trouble whatsoever, just cruises by. And Balthazar keeps on fighting. He really comes almost all the way back. I was very encouraged by this finish, and that's why I put him on the top of my ticket today.
Yeah, and he did get bounced around pretty good at the top of the stretch, and that was at a critical point when he was making his move to join the go-to lead, it looked like, in there. So number 3, Balthazar, on my ticket, but I did go with the number 8 horse on top, and that's his Tis for Tat. This one's going to face winners after what I thought was a very impressive maiden victory in the law in which he drew off. Guess what? He beat a pair of next out winners in there. One called Grand Coney and the other one calling 5 Gears. That was going 1 mile and 1/16. It was on a good turf. So once again, going with the key race angle, I have the number 8 Tis for Tat on top of my ticket, but you got to have the number 3 Balthazar somewhere. And we both used the number 6 Rompin' Reed, who's very consistent.
Very consistent. This horse broke his maiden 3 starts back here, and that was his first time going 1 mile and 1/16. He followed that effort up with 2 in-the-money finishes and an optional claimer and an allowance. And I think this is a horse that really just loves distance, and the farther you go, it's going to be better, and this race is a good fit for him.
Well, we go to the 6th race. It's going to be on the fast main track, and this is where the Rainbow 6 starts on an 11-race card. So a $50,000 jackpot guarantee, 7 furlongs. It's an allowance optional claimer, fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up. The claiming level is $16,000. And when I was doing the morning line for this, had a tough time, and I'm glad to see that you agree with me that I made the morning line favorite in here, the number 8 horse, 4 Aria, from the Peter Walder barn.
Yeah, he has been doing so well with his claimers and with his horses, making them into very nice horses. 4 Aria is looking for her 4th straight win today. She's coming off 2 very game races in which she won by a head and a half length. Those were in $25,000 optional claimers, so the slightest of drops in class again today. And this filly really seems to love Gulfstream. She's hit the board in 7 of her 8 starts here, and 4 of those resulted in wins.
Yeah, and that's right. She's 50% win at Gulfstream Park, so certainly a horse for course play. The number 2, French Politics, moved to the Herman Walensky barn via the claiming route after posting the best last race buyer figure of anybody in the field, 72. When finishing 3rd, it was a $16,000 optional claimer last at the barn. 26% with new claims. I've been watching this barn throughout the meet. They've been just doing a fantastic job. So I threw the number 2, French Politics, on my ticket. One of the reasons, Katie, I had trouble making this morning line was because the horse we have in 3rd, and that's the 5, Derek's Brother. This one is a Grade 3 stakes-placed horse.
Yes, and I really would have her higher, except for the fact that she hasn't run since January, and in that start she was eased in the $100,000 Busanda Stakes. That was her only start this year, but I really like this filly. Marty Wolfson excels with his fillies and mares. And she was 3rd, like you mentioned, in the Tempted last November, and that was behind a filly named Stop Charging Maria, who has done so well. She just won the Grade 1 Coaching Club American Oaks.
I would not be surprised when the smoke clears that the number 5, Derek's Girl, will be the favorite in that race. We're going back to the turf for the 7th, 1 mile and 1/16. These are maiden claimers, 3-year-olds and up. The claiming price is $12,500. Scratch the 3, the Pepto Express, and scratch both also eligible entries, number 13 and number 14. And this one was too cool for me, but how did you see this? I went with the 7, too cool for you on top, but I know you went with the 8, Best Of.
I did. I went back and forth a lot with this race. I like Best Of because of his running style. I've been really encouraged by his finishes in his last 3 starts. He's been running at the end every time, gaining instead of fading. That's always a good sign to me. Last time out he was 4th, beaten just a length and a half at this distance, and I think with a good trip, he'll be picking up the pieces late.
You know, I was afraid of the pace scenario in here until the scratch of the number 3, the Pepto Express. I think it's really going to help the 7 Too Cool for You. Going to try and stretch his speed to the wire. He set the pace. He weakened at the furlong marker last time. He finished third at this level in distance. Kathleen O'Connell, Eduardo Nunez. I think with the scratch of the 3, the Pepto Express was also the major speed in here. Makes it look a little better for number 7 Too Cool for You. But if someone goes up and challenges, it's certainly going to set it up for the number 8, Best Of. With that said, we'll go to the 8th race. This is 6 furlong sprint, the maiden filly 2-year-olds. Lots of 2-year-olds out today. We got the Sire Stakes kicking off in 8th race in here. Another wide open affair, and I can't believe it. We both have the 11 and 5 on the ticket. Tell me why you went with the 11.
I liked Cigar because of this filly's first race. She stumbled at the start, then she recovers and she makes up ground to secure third. She gets a nice stalking trip after that, but then she goes to make a big run around the far turn, and she's asked to go along the rail and fit into the tiniest of holes. That's not something that you're going to get from a very young 2-year-old filly that's just going to willingly go through there. So that's where she kind of faltered. She swung out and still made a run, still finished third, I think, with a better trip and also that experience now that she can come out with that win.
And you could see who she was third behind, the horse I mentioned a little earlier, the impressive win, Slava. So if you agree with my key race a little earlier on in the card, in the Desert Vixen, you got to have number 11, Sikar, on your ticket. How about the 5? This is the one that intrigued me the most, and that's Akadi's Phaeton. This is a daughter of Taylor Akadi by Taylor the Cat. Working exceptionally well for Bill Kaplan. And if you know Bill Kaplan, he usually gives him a race or something, doesn't really crank him up right out. This horse worked a 5 furlong bullet in 59 and 4. When I see that with a Bill Kaplan horse, ding, the light goes off, so I got to have this one somewhere on the ticket.
And I love Tail Bacati and how his 2-year-olds are doing. He was the first freshman sire this year to sire a 2-year-old winner, and his second winner won here. That was Bon Louis back during the Champions Meet. So I think this horse could be nice.
Yeah, and I just go by that workout pattern. I used the 2 Dennis Deluxe, daughter of Summer Bird, making her debut, and you used the number 8 horse in there.
I did. This is Not Ladylike, making her debut for Bill White by Lemon Drop Kid out of a Malibu Moo Mare. I like the breeding, has 8 published works coming into her first start.
The 9th race, 1 mile claimer, 3-year-olds and up, non-winners of 3 races in life. The claiming level, $6,250, and I went with the number 4, Solicitation. This one's turning back to a mile, dual throughout the stretch, got beat ahead. It was against similar quality. It was going a mile and a 16th. It was on a sealed, sloppy track. Peter Walder, go-to jock, John Delgado, on this son of Bandini. You got the 2 Raging Lion. We got our Exacta Flip-Flop. Pray tell why.
I like Raging Lion because I'm really intrigued by the turf to dirt move for this horse. Trainer Dennis Manning wins at a 20% clip with horses going from turf to dirt. And this horse is dropping down from the $16,000 and $10,000 levels. That's what he was running in at Tampa. He's coming in off a 3rd place effort in which he closed from 5 wide and lost by less than 2 lengths.
I also, we got our Exacta Flip-Flop, then I got the 11 on the ticket, Springfield Alley, from the Herman Walensky barn. So we have sort of an agreement here, but we'll have to go with the Exacta box. We're going to go to our 10th and co-feature event of the afternoon. This is the Dr. Fager, $100,000, 6 furlongs, 2-year-olds, and we're going to go back and show you a race from July 12th. It's race 9, and it shows Sing Praises really winning the Bird on the Wire.
Really winning. Sing Praises in the Bird on the Wire was 20-1. You're not going to get that today. Funny how one race as impressive as this can change things. And coming in, Sing Praises was the other horse of the Stanley Gold horses. Of course, is the other one. And Stanley Gold, again, Jacks Are Better Farm, they have swept the Florida Sire Stakes on 3 occasions. They've won 12 Florida Sire Stakes races. That's more than anybody else. You can't leave them out here. And that was a really impressive win for me.
Yeah, but I went with the 5, of course, in here. And I'll tell you why. It's really trained sharply in preparation for the rematch. As you mentioned, with its stablemate Singing Praises, won that race by 9+ lengths. But this son of Austin, of course, has been steadied on the turn last time out. Edgar Zayas in the saddle today. And I'm thinking, when we spoke to Stanley Gold before this race, he was really high on, of course. So getting a little cute in here. Going to put the 5, of course, on the ticket, along with the 8, Sing Praises in in second. But how could you not mention Kathleen O'Connor when you're talking about sire stakes, formerly the Stallion Stakes horses, and she's got a couple in here. And the one I used in third was the 4, Jaden's Best. It was impressive, stalk in early, drawing till late, Breaker's Maiden at the distance, and I think this horse is going to see a similar pace scenario today. Sit off the pace and just come running late.
I'm in complete agreement.
So we're going to go to our 11th and final race of the afternoon, and this one, 5.5 furlongs, maiden claimants, fillies and mares, 3 and up, $12,500, scratch to 10, Livingston Street, and I ended it with the number 5 horse, and so did you, Another Big Cat.
Another Big Cat, and I'm giving Another Big Cat another chance because I feel like I'm always picking this filly when she runs here. And Ron, if she doesn't win today, do not let me pick her again. Just a reminder, but she's been second in each of her last 4 starts. A really big case of second-itis with this filly. But she's very big. She really is, like her name says. I think she's still kind of figuring out how to use her body and growing into herself and use those legs. I think she's a very late developing filly. Her last 2 starts, she's lost by just 1.5 and 3/4 lengths. I think she can break through today.
And she's getting an improved post. She was in post 10 last time out, now breaking mid-pack. I think that's another thing that'll help the 5. Another Big Cat. I went with the number 4, Mimi's Dream. Late striding type will be poised to pounce. Again, if Another Big Cat fails to extend her tactical speed advantage to the wire. Looks like the 4, Mimi's Dream, will be just sitting there. And if Another Big Cat fails to do it again, maybe it'll be number 4, Mimi's Dream. You're thinking maybe it'll be the number 3 horse in here, Subtle Humor.
Yeah, this is a first-time starter for Stephen DeMauro, a daughter of De Stoops, who is a son of Distorted Humor. She has 6 published works leading up to this debut, and the last pre-race work was The Bullet. She worked 4 furlongs in 47 and 2 on Wednesday. I like the looks of that. Also gets leading rider Edgar Zayas.
Well, we've been waiting for this all summer, the start of the Sire Stakes, and we start with the 6 furlongs. And as we mentioned at the top of the show, it culminates on October 4th with 2 big races, and it should be a lot of fun. And that is the In Reality, who we saw Best Plan winning last year, and the My Dear Girl, and that will be on October 4th. And that will be the end of this 2-year-old series that we're so excited to have here at Gulfstream Park.
Yes, and the purses increase each time. By the end in October, they're going to be running for $350,000. That's some really nice purse money, and very excited to have it here. Glad it's finally here, and enjoy today.
Good luck, everybody.